A man from Paignton who took up photography as a way of living with his disabilities has been given official recognition. CJ Ware, who's autistic, deaf and spends much of his life in a wheelchair, has described his camera as a comfort blanket, making him feel less isolated and boosting his confidence. John Ayres takes up the story.
CJ has autism and after 3 heart attacks has disabilities, which means he often has to use a wheelchair. He discovered photography as a teenager and hasn't looked back.
I enjoy the photography because I feel I hide behind my camera a bit, because it's kind of like a comfort blanket, like a child would have. It's sort of my safety net. If I'm getting a bit uncomfortable somewhere, I'll get the camera out, take some photos, and helps me feel a bit more relaxed and calm.
In his teens, he teamed up with professional photographer Clive Figes, who mentored him. They clicked, and Clive realised CJ had a gift.
I learned to treat CJ as a human being with gifts that I haven't got, and teach him or introduce him to gifts I have which he hasn't got. To treat him like a decent person, to show interest in him, because in every direction we take, there's an awful lot of apathy where people sort of say, oh yes, we appreciate disabled people and this, that and the other, but we don't do anything.
I like to do weird imagery. I spot things that people often overlook. You know, you wouldn't normally see. There's an image that springs to mind. We were in town and there were these guys in suits sat down on a park bench eating Cornish pasties. You wouldn't normally look at that and think that's unusual, but for me that was very unusual, because you wouldn't expect a couple of guys on their lunch break in suits eating a Cornish pasty. It's not the done thing.
This relationship, spanning 13 years, has now seen CJ recognised for his work by the Royal Photographic Society. John Ayres, BBC Spotlight, Paignton.
Amazing pictures. OK, let's take you to Scilly now, where